2024 is slated to be another big year for coasters with the revival of old models, brand new ones, and record-breaking rides across the world. Today I will be doing a way too early ranking of the 15 best new for 2024 coasters. Hello, this is Zero G Coasters. I post weekly roller coaster commentary and vlogs, so if you enjoy that type of content, then consider subscribing, as it's completely free. If not, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Kicking it off with number 15, we have the first of a few tilt coasters on this list, an unknown broken rail coaster at Bohai Pearl Happy Valley in China. This is a rare model from Chinese manufacturer Jinma Rides, with only 3 in existence, with this being the 4th. We don't know any particular stats of this ride, but it seems to be a pretty long ride with 5 inversions, including a sidewinder, cobra roll, corkscrew, and an inline twist. Overall, these tilt coasters look pretty janky, but this one looks the best of them all. At the number 14 spot is Jungle Rush at Dreamworld in Australia, which is a Vekoma mine train coaster. This ride doesn't have a ton of information like most of these rides, but it seems to be a good coaster with show scenes, an intriguing incline turntable, and a backwards section, totaling for a cost of $23 million US. The ride also seems to be quite thrilling with 12 total airtime moments, although there are no inversions. This coaster seems to be a good gap between the family coasters in the park and something like Steel Type On, so I think it's a great addition to the park. At the number 13 spot is the first US coaster on this list, Hot Wheels Twin Mill Racers at Mattel Adventure Park in Arizona. This is a Chance Hyper GTX coaster, but it's not really similar to Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom, which is currently the only one in existence. Instead of an airtime focused layout, the coaster focuses on inversions with a total of 3, with 2 vertical loops and a corkscrew. It is also projected to have a launch unlike Lightning Run, which is a coaster with a lift hill. I'm overall excited to see what this ride brings to the table, and it will definitely be Arizona's best coaster when it opens. Number 12 is the unknown Zamperla LSM launch coaster coming to PNE Playland and Vancouver. This is a Zamperla remake of an old Intamin accelerator coaster, and it looks great, with a new LSM launch and comfortable lightning trains. Otherwise, the ride seems to pack quite a punch with some good airtime moments and whippy transitions. I think it's an ambitious project, but if it pays off, then I think we might see this treatment on other rides. This coaster is just another reason why I need to make it out to PNE Playland if coaster wasn't good enough. At the number 11 spot is Palindrome at Codaland in Texas. This is one of the 2 coasters there that is delayed until 2024, and this one is a Gerstlauer Infinity with a vertical lift and beyond vertical drop, some whippy transitions, and even a great looking spike. The ride then reverses and you do the entire thing backwards, providing interesting sensations of airtime and other forces. Another cool quirk of the ride is that it casually does a wave turn over a large road, leading to a crazy visual for those on the ride and people passing by. Overall, this coaster is quite ambitious and it looks to be a very good ride. Kicking off the top 10 is Wiener Looping at Wiener Prater in Austria. This is a quirky mock Big Dipper coaster with a holding brake on its drop, which may make it feel similar to a mini dive coaster. Along with that, the ride also has a hang time filled cutback in Swedish loop, which will stall the train out for a good 2 to 3 seconds. The ride continues on with snappy turns and a dive loop, before hitting the brake run. Overall, Wiener Prater's 15th coaster is looking to be one of their best, although it is a somewhat short ride. Number 9 is an unknown Vekoma Top Gun coaster coming to Fantawild in China. These coasters seem to look quite intense, with an intense launch, rollover camelback which serves as a top hat, some intense turns, and a whippy sidewinder and corkscrews. The coaster also has interesting trains with only 4 rows, totaling 8 riders per train, which may take away from some whip, but the ride seems to have very intense moments, with crazy forces and even mixed floater and flowjector airtime. At the number 8 spot is an unknown Vekoma Space Warp coming to Oriental Heritage in China. This is a clone of Formula Energylandia, and it looks to be a very intense ride with a great LSM launch to start off the ride, before 3 snappy inversions, which includes a sidewinder with some hang time and some whippy corkscrews. The ride also has some small bunny hills which provides some underrated airtime, but this is a perfect coaster for any park that gets one. Number 7 is an unknown hyperspace warp coming to yet another Oriental Heritage in China, and to confuse you even more, this ride is almost a clone of the last, with the only difference being a lift hill and drop instead of an LSM launch. The drop seems to be quite steep and will give a great dose of airtime. Otherwise, there's not too much to be said about this coaster, as it is not too different from the last. At the number 6 spot is an unknown coaster coming to Skyline Park in Germany, and this ride will be amazing. Manufactured by Gerstlauer, this coaster will have a height of 229 feet and a length of around 3,900 feet. The coaster doesn't have many other stats other than the fact that it costs 8 to 10 million euros, so I can't rank it higher, but if it's anything similar to Carnon or completely different, I think that it will be an incredible ride. Number 5 is Circuit Breaker at Kotaland. This is the revitalization of the Vekoma Tilt Coaster, and it looks to be a crazy ride, with the tilt track being the highlight, giving a scary visual and weightlessness for a long time. Unlike the current tilt coaster in Taiwan, this one has many elements after, with a crazy lateral-filled heartline roll and many airtime moments. Along with that, the ride looks visually appealing with the ride sprawling through tunnels and the huge lift structure. Combine it all together and Circuit Breaker will be a memorable coaster. At the number 4 spot is an unknown Vekoma Tilt Coaster coming to Energylandia. This ride looks to be absolutely insane with the tilt track at almost 150 feet in the air, but the ride changes it up a bit with a twisted drop instead of it being straight. The ride follows through with the camelback, upwards roll, triple down, and many more intense elements, such as a barrel roll and twisted camelback hills. Overall, this park will have a dominating skyline with this ride and Sawchar right next to each other. Number 3 is Voltron at Europa Park in Germany. This coaster has immersive theming based off Nikola Tesla, and the ride experience doesn't fall short either. This ride is a brand new Mach Striker coaster, which is an upscale Big Dipper, and the ride starts off with a vertical launch into a hangtime-filled loop, before continuing on with many inversions and aggressive airtime moments. The ride then hits a brake run and hits a turntable before going into a multi-pass launch, containing a spike which will give weightlessness, and then a top hat before continuing on with the second half, which is similar to the first one. Overall, this coaster looks world class and I can't wait to experience it. Kicking off the top 2 is Turbo Turtle Power at Nickelodeon Universe in China. This coaster is planned to be an Intamin LSM, and it looks incredible, with 2 separate launches and 8 total inversions, along with all the airtime you want in an Intamin. The only reason this ride isn't number 1 is because it seems too good to be true, and this coaster has been delayed so much we don't know when it will open, but this ride will be world class for sure. At the number 1 spot is Project Exodus at Thorpe Park in the UK. This coaster will tower above Thorpe Park at a height of 223 feet, and it will have an insane twisted drop. The ride also has multiple large inversions, which will give positives on the entry and hang time towards the top. And the Outer Banks and other airtime moments will give multiple seconds of ejector airtime. This ride will change the course of history for Thorpe Park, and it will be their best ride, and most likely the best in the UK when it opens. If you agree on these picks, then feel free to hit like and subscribe, and if you didn't, comment below which ride should be higher or lower. Anyways, this is Zero G Coaster signing out. Have a great day, and see ya.